So this is a topic, like you say in this chapter, chapter 13, that it can get heated quickly. And that is when we talk about biblical submission. So would you talk about what biblical submission is and what it is not?
Well, when this book came out like 26 years ago, so when my mother read it, she said, "I don't think the girls are going to like this book." I said, "I don't think they will either." But the reason that I wrote the book was to help women if they're struggling in a difficult marriage, and especially if their husbands are sinning against them. So the chapter after the principles on submission is resources to protect the wife, biblical resources to protect the wife when her husband is sinning. But basically, there are 4 places in the New Testament that tells the wife to be submissive to her husband. And in Ephesians 5, it says, "Wives, be subject to your own husbands as to the Lord, but as the church is subject to Christ, so also the wives ought to be to their husbands in everything." And I take that as being submissive in the big things as well as the small things. But it does not mean that she's a doormat, that she doesn't have an opinion. We are to be helpers suitable for our husband. Stuart Scott wrote the companion book, The Exemplary Husband. His book is 100 pages longer than mine because I think the men need more help. Of course, he says it's longer because it takes that long to figure out how to live with your wife in an understanding way. But anyway, the exception would be if her husband is asking her to sin, such as he forbids her to go to church, or he forbids her to talk to the children about the Lord. Now, she can wait until he's not around, but never make that commitment that she won't share the Lord with the children, because God is the higher authority and she is under her husband's authority. But if he's asking her to do something sinful or wrong, then she has to obey God rather than man, just like Peter said in Acts. So anyway, there is a group now. I think it's a rather small group, but they're called soft complementarians. I am a complementarian. Think the word complete. The wife completes her husband, but the opposite of that is an egalitarian, where people would say, well, the wife and husband have equal authority. It's like it's a feminist kind of belief. But then there's this new kind of middle group called soft complementarians. So they would pretty much say you have to be submissive in the big things, but not the small things. So I think if you read their books, you can tell they're really kind of struggling with the whole issue. But it's the heart's issue. We do it for the Lord. This is a role that God has given us, and there's no better place to be. We should have opinions. We should give our opinions to our husband. But the bottom line is, if he is not asking you to sin, then we should be graciously submissive. The word in the Greek for be subject to is the Greek word hupotasso. Hupo means to be under. Tasso, Tasso, means it's a ordering or a ranking. It's a military term. So we are to be ranked under in military order. The Bible is very clear. There is no partiality with God. It doesn't matter if you're Greek or Gentile or Jew or male or female. We are all one, one in Christ, but we are assigned different spiritual gifts, and we have different roles, God-given roles. And it should be your joy to be in God's will in that way.